Yo. Welcome back to Son of a Preacher Man. As always, I'm your host. Soap Man is in the house. Okay, so for the past 5 or 6 episodes, I've been telling you about the creation story. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what the creation story is, please allow me to explain. The first thing you should know about the creation story is that there is no story actually called the creation story. A long time ago, well, not so long ago, about 100 years ago, modern day archaeologists start digging around in Iraq. A long time ago, this area in Iraq was called Mesopotamia. So they started digging around in southern Mesopotamia and they discovered an ancient civilization called the Sumerians. And the Sumerians had written this story down about the creation of the universe and how the world came into existence and how life began on Earth. And so it was similar to the creation story told by Moses in the Bible. So we just start calling them all creation stories, and it stuck. So when you think of the term creation story, what it is kind of like a colloquialism. Now, what is that? A colloquialism, what that means is it's just a nickname. That's kind of what colloquialism means. It means a nickname. And so that's what the creation story is. The ancient people who wrote about the creation of the universe didn't call it the creation story. We just use that term to identify it. I use the word colloquialism because it sounds complicated and sophisticated. But what it really means is like a nickname. The creation story, just like the word colloquialism, at first seems complicated and sophisticated. But just like the word colloquialism, it can be broken down into simple, understandable terms. So where did the creation story come from? The creation story came from the sons of God. Okay, so now who are the sons of God? The sons of God were the holy line of Seth, son of Adam. Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel, gets exiled from the Garden of Eden, and then Adam and Eve have Seth. And Seth goes on to have Enos. Enos has Canaan. And all of these generations after Seth are known as the sons of God, all the way down to Noah. Noah, too, is a son of God. I want to attempt to explain to you how important and how significant the impact left by the sons of God were. They were an extremely advanced people for their time. And I want to try to give you some insight on just how significant they were and what a significant role they played in history. Okay, so check this out. And this blows my mind. Do you know that over half the people in this country believe in aliens? 65%. And the majority of those people believe that aliens visited us in ancient times and taught us all kinds of things that were advanced to us, which eventually led to our civilization. But what those people don't know is that they're confusing aliens with the sons of God. You see, it was the sons of God who taught man in ancient times to be civilized. The sons of God taught man agriculture. They taught man how to make weapons of war. They taught man strategies of war. They taught man religion. They taught man to write. But they were not aliens. They were flesh and blood men. But what's funny to me is, even the people who lived at the time of the sons of God thought that they were more than men. The people who lived among the sons of God, they too thought the sons of God were aliens. They even worshiped the sons of God as though they were gods. And what is amazing to me is that thousands of years later, people must still mistake the sons of God for aliens. And that just blows me. Okay, so these sons of God, I think it's safe to say they were special. First of all, they lived for an exceptionally long length of years. They lived for hundreds of years. Just imagine if you met somebody and they were like 230 years old. You would think to yourself initially, damn, what's going on with this person? Now, you may not think they were an alien or a god, but just initially that would be shocking. And just like it would be shocking to you, it was shocking to people in ancient times how long these people lived. But in addition to that, they were exceedingly wise among men. Many of them were prophets, and that's not all. They were called the Watchers because they studied the stars. They told of how the universe came into creation, how life began on earth, and they even prophesied the first destruction of the earth by a great flood. The sons of God passed their knowledge and their culture and their traditions to the people of southern Mesopotamia, the Sumerians. And the Sumerians in turn shared it with others. They shared it with the Babylonians, who eventually shared it with the Assyrians. But here's something you must know. None of these people, well, the Sumerians in particular, did not understand everything that the sons of God taught them. Sure, the Sumerians understood agriculture. Sure, they understood strategies of war. Sure, they understood, some of the math and science that the sons of God taught them. But when it came to religion, the science of the universe and the study of stars, the Sumerians did not understand what the sons of God understood. And why should they? They weren't the sons of God. The Sumerians benefited greatly from what they learned from the sons of God, but they were not the sons of God. And they did not have an understanding of math and science and the things that the sons of God were teaching them. They understood somewhat, but it was like the student was not the master. And one of the key things that the Sumerians never quite understood was the creation story. The Sumerians got the creation story, amongst other things, from the sons of God, and they shared it with the Babylonians, who shared it with the Assyrians. And this story, along with other things learned from the sons of God, it traveled north and northwest all along the Fertile Crescent and beyond until it made its way to Egypt. Now, at this time, in ancient times, let's say around 3000 BC, Egypt was doing its own thing. It was forming its first dynasties. It was a kingdom. It was a powerhouse in its own right. And it was outside of the direct sphere of influence. It was outside the direct sphere of influence of Mesopotamia. Dude, back in ancient times, Mesopotamia was a dog. They were a powerhouse. They were not to be trifled with. But Egypt, by proximity, was out of danger from Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia wasn't that great of a threat to Egypt. They were a threat, but they weren't enough threat at this time to stop Egypt's growth. At this time, Egypt was growing and thriving and becoming super powerful, powerful enough to rival the Mesopotamian kings. Now, there's a man who's going to come out of Egypt a couple hundred years after the fall of the Sumerians. Okay, so this man, he too is special. He's special because he is wise beyond measure. Coincidentally, he is also a direct descendant of those sons of God. This man who comes out of Egypt a couple hundred years after the fall of the Sumerians can trace his lineage directly through the lineage of the sons of God and back to Adam himself. He is, in a lot of ways, a son of God of his time. This man, of course, is Moses, and it is his creation story that we use and study today.